Hey, it's Jamie. Welcome back to my channel, Hiding Hair Loss. So I suffer from frontal fibrosing alopecia, which means that I am missing a lot of hair on the sides, and I get a lot of questions about what is the best sort of hair topper to cover that kind of hair loss. So I have a little bit of a different scenario than just frontal loss at this point in my hair loss journey. I have a lot of missing spots all over my scalp. I just want to preface that my comparison today of the different toppers for frontal loss are not necessarily the best options for me at this point in my journey because of all the various other areas that I have to conceal at this point. But it is one of my most asked questions, I think, especially when people are looking for their first hair topper and just trying to decide like what level of coverage they are looking for and which one's going to be the easiest and best option to cover and to suit their needs. So the two pieces I want to compare today are the Hairline topper from Uniwigs. This piece acts just like a headband. It literally is just for the frontal part of your scalp. It's not going to give you coverage on the top or anywhere else. It's not going to give you volume overall. It's literally just to cover the front. Something I really miss about having a fully intact hairline is being able to wear my hair up. So this piece does work for that, and I will show you in a minute here how it works. So anyway, this is the first piece I'm going to talk about, and what I want to compare the Hairline topper to is just like a lace front hair topper, which is amazing if you have loss across the front. You can wear it right up to your hairline. It gives you that fully intact hairline. Just across here though, you're not going to get the hairline at the side, so you would just have to leave your hair untucked or like strategically I do like a loose tuck sometimes, but it does give you volume if you're in need of volume. It does give you coverage at the top if you're in need of that as well. But first things first, let's get into the Hairline topper. This one has really been a popular one that people ask about. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on. So this is what it looks like. It has a halo wire. That's the way that it's attached to your scalp. There's no clips or anything like that. It does have little silicone patches to kind of stick in here. I will say with this piece, I feel like it would almost work better the less hair you have in the front. For me, I still have like some wispy stuff across here. And like I said, I still have that. So it kind of it's trickier to line up because I have some areas still intact, but let me show you how it looks. Okay. So this is how it looks. And like I said, my scalp is in need of some more coverage these days. So it's not gonna give me all the coverage that I need, but it does give the frontal coverage that I need. So here's what we're looking like. This is where it gets tricky for me because I have some hair here. You really have to just get your hair out of the way so these silicone patches can do their job and stick down. So this is how it's looking. Like I said, I think this piece would actually be amazing if you had just like the fully receded hairline with nothing to guide. I feel like my sideburns can sometimes, there's like a gap between where this ends and my sideburns are. So if you don't have sideburns, that's not going to be an issue for you. And then what you could do even, I like to pull out just like some little wispy pieces to kind of give a sideburn if you need that. You could even trim them if you are feeling adventurous. I think that's what I would probably do. So then, like I said, this gives you a nice realistic looking hairline. It does have the face framing and the bangs, so that is great. So you could get away with a little ear tuck. Now this does have the tendency to lift a little bit. If you're worried about that, you could always stick it down with some wig glue or like a stronghold hair gel. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what this looks like just like a half up. I'm gonna push this back. We're gonna try to cover what we can. A tricky thing about this piece is the color match. If you are, if you're not wearing it back and it stops right here, it can be a little bit noticeable. So you're really gonna want to make sure you're getting as close to your root color as possible. I originally had this piece in Truffle Brown. That's what I usually get for my like regular toppers. But because my roots are slightly darker than the Truffle Brown, my ends are like almost a perfect match, if not lighter. This one I ended up getting in the Espresso Brown, so it's a little bit better match. It's still like a very smidgen lighter. Like I said, I can get away with it if I'm kind of incorporating it into my own hair and doing something like this or doing a full ponytail. But as far as wearing it down, I mean, I don't wear it down anyway because I have huge missing spots on the top of my head. But so anyway, I would say if you are one of those ladies that still has your hair fully intact except for just the receding, this piece is such a cool option, and this is probably your best choice if you still want to have your bio hair out, but you want to cover that frontal area where you're having a little bit of trouble. Okay, so this is her in all her glory. This is Harper is the name, and I will link the products below so you can click on the link and see what color options and all of that. So Uniwigs does offer quite a few options in lace front toppers. This particular one I'm going to show today is a newer one. It's their new upgrade Courtney. It's a low density lace front hair topper. It does come with the lace extended out from the front, and you have to trim it back. I trimmed my back quite a bit so that I can wear it behind my hairline, but it still can be worn to the front as well, kind of like their closed front toppers. I was kind of going for that idea. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. I like to use the halo wire. I think it makes the hairpiece lay incredibly flat across my forehead, which is, I think, key to making a hair topper look natural. And then I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what this looks like right up to the front, because today, I'm trying to show for us ladies with frontal fibrosing alopecia, especially if you are missing at the front of your scalp and the front of your forehead. So this is what it looks like. Again, these options I feel like are almost even better for women who are missing fully their frontal hairline. I feel like I get a little bit in a weird, tricky spot where I still have some hair, and it gets, obviously you're like seeing my hair here peeking out, so it gets a little bit tricky. But so this is just with the halo wire. As you can see, it's incredibly flat. It doesn't lift. I'm gonna go ahead and do the clips just to secure it in place. And then I like to pull some hair out from under the halo wire. This is just hair from like further back. I don't obviously have much hair at the sides here, but and honestly the halo wire kind of holds this hair forward, so it's kind of a win-win situation. So we'll pull some of my hair forward. So as you can see, it gives me the coverage I need on the top. It gives me volume, which I need because I have a lot of other hair loss. So if you're someone with frontal hair loss that is okay with some added volume, some added coverage, this piece is a great one. I think it's comfortable. It's incredibly easy to wear. You're not gonna have to adjust it. You're not gonna have to glue it or anything like that. It gives you a nice natural hairline. If we're gonna go positive negatives, the one negative thing about this is you can't get away with really wearing it up fully because it's not gonna cover, if you have loss on the sides, it's not gonna cover that loss. You could still potentially do like a looser, I like to do like a loose kind of half up, and then that way I can still leave this hair and just cover my sides with like a loosely tucked hair. So that's an option. I'll show you that just to give a fair comparison here. As you can see, it gives me extra volume at the bottom too. So if I was going to give my vote, personally, I prefer a regular hair topper at this point in my journey. But if you would have asked me 3 or 4 years ago, before I started losing hair all over my scalp, I would have been ecstatic to have a piece that I could still showcase the hair that I had intact, and then just covered the problem areas with the frontal hairline piece. So if you are someone with frontal loss, you know, it's a tricky one, and Uniwigs has some great innovations that they have clearly worked on to try to support us and give us options to cover our loss. And I think these two are great options, and you know, they both have their pros and cons. So I think even if you're really enthusiastic about hair toppers, it's great to have both in your arsenal. I'm happy that I can have both options if I want to do a half up or like something with the sides of my hair a little bit more showing. I use the hairline topper. If I'm wearing my hair down, that piece doesn't work for me, and I love having this to pop on for those occasions. So both are useful in their own right, so that would be something to think about as well. So yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope that you guys are doing well. I know I am looking forward to warmer weather. It's a mood booster, and the one thing about it is it does get a little bit trickier with wearing hair in warmer weather, and so I always get a little tinge of kind of like, oh, it's that time of year, since I've had my hair loss. So, but this year I'm excited. I love having these two pieces. I think I'm gonna use them throughout the summer. They're both breathable and wearable. So anyway, I hope you found some helpful information in this video. If you were on the fence about these pieces, or if you're deciding what would be best for you, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.